off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Spreaker, Streaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk, formerly or now. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. If you missed any of my past 1,279 podcast shows, but who's counting, over the last 657 consecutive weeks, please do free subscribe to my YouTube TV channel where you can not just listen, but watch as well. And today I am so delighted to have a very special guest with me. Her name is Susie Singer-Carter, and she is a filmmaker and a spokesperson. She's an award-winning filmmaker and a spokesperson for No Country for Old People, a nursing home exposé. The documentary has been named a finalist in Health Awareness Film, Video, Television, or Show in the 4th Annual Anthem Awards. In No Country for Old People, a filmmaker chronicles the last 6 months of her mother's life in a 5-star nursing home and discovers the system designed to protect our most vulnerable has been flouted by venture capitalists and real estate investment trusts. For decades, greed has caused millions of people insufferable consequences and even death, yet most of the public has no idea until it's too late. No Country for Old People is a cautionary tale and a public rally for change. Please welcome to my studio, Susie Singer-Carter.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Marissa. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into, we got a finger on that one already. Someone gave us a finger, not that finger, but this finger. We love it when you interact.
I don't like the other finger. Can I just brag and say that we actually received the gold Anthem Award. So we're no longer a finalist. We received the gold, which makes us very happy.
Can you tell I like to celebrate?
I love to celebrate. No, I think, that's the thing about winning awards. It's nice, but it also amplifies your message.
Absolutely.
And that's why we were so excited about that, because especially with the Anthem Awards, which is an impact, social impact award. And that's specifically about bringing, good change. Good problems, we're making good problems, and hopefully, that will result in better quality lives for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get into all that, I start every show now for the last couple of years with taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. It's a morning breakfast exercise. That way you get to have breakfast with my guest or co-host. And this morning I just sprung it on her. I don't warn people, but it is my desire and part of my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years, to focus on what's good in life. So the top of the bun is 8 specific things that you're grateful for between the two of us or anybody that wants to play on the chat. And then on the bottom of the bun, we're going to model for people what we want them to do before bed. So instead of thinking about what I didn't get done, who done me wrong, what I'm not good at, I want to exercise muscle here for self-love, self-care, and self-approval, which I believe is the foundation of good mental health. So that's what we're going to do real quickly here. And I'll just start the top of the bun. I am grateful that my daughter loves the fact she came down for Thanksgiving from San Francisco and said, "Thank you, Mom, for raising us in Southern California," which was such a sweet thing to say, and you don't think about, I guess I did make a choice, right? Because I was born in Canada, actually, originally. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for daughters. I'm grateful for living in Southern California. What are you grateful for, Susie?
Oh, well, that sounds very familiar because I have 2 daughters, and I'm very grateful for these women that I made. I look at them all the time and think, I can't believe I made you. And I just so very, very proud of them, and I enjoy them. And I think they enjoy me. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful that my oldest one gave me 2 more girls. So we have 2 little baby girls now who are just amazing, and they call me Gaga, and I think that's fantastic.
Oh, that's so sweet. You look great. You don't look like your grandma. You must use oil of Olay. So we'll go with that. I'm grateful.
I'm grateful for the good genes. Thank you, Mom.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to say that too. I'm grateful that I don't look, act, or feel. Well, my body's kind of revolting lately, but that I do look younger and feel younger than I actually am. There you go. That's actually
I'm twinning with you today because I feel the same way. Last night was my hip hop class that I've been taking for 10 years now. And it got me through my divorce, and I love it so much. And I am bad good in that way. I'm so proud of myself for that I've gotten to be actually a dancer, and I dance, and I'm probably, there's older people than me in that class because they're professional dancers, but I'm probably twice as old as some of those people in the class. I feel very happy about that.
Very good. Yes. I appreciate that I tried stand-up comedy for the first time, broke that little bubble. I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm told I'm funny. And I own my funny now. My husband told me I was not funny for many years, well, every other day. And so the best thing about divorce, yes, looks like we have another thing in common, is that I own my funny. And so I'm going to try doing stand-up comedy with motivation instead of the other way around, see what happens. I appreciate that it's never too late to try something new. And I am perturbed. Ooh, I love that word. I haven't said that in a while. I'm perturbed by the expression, jack of all trades, master of none. That is bullshit hockey. You can try. It's never too late to try something new, because the one thing that is certain is you ain't living forever. So you might as well try something now. We don't know where we're going. We're going back into love. I know that. But you may not get a chance to learn a new language or stand up or write a book or do a podcast. So gospel according to Nike, just do it.
Yeah, amen. I love that too. I think that let me double down on that, because I feel like the same thing. I feel like I have been, I have used necessity to motivate me to do what I have to do. So if there's something I want to do and I don't know how to get there, I will figure it out. If I need something, I will learn it. And I find that very, very, satisfying. I think that's, when I needed to learn how to edit, because I'm a control freak and I wanted it to look the way I wanted to look. I thought, let me in there. Let me learn this. Let me learn how to do Premiere Pro. Let me learn how to do, all the, whatever I think I started on Final Cut. But anyway, that, so that's what you got to do. You got to do it. Right. And I enjoy that. And I think that, the more that we can accomplish makes us feel more accomplished. And it adds to your purpose, and purpose is everything.
and I can see that we definitely are twins, and that you're preaching to the choir. I'm so glad. I love Harlan. I'm going to be grateful for Harlan because he does dish up the best guests, and this is no exception here. And I'm so excited. I think every guest that he's given me has become a friend. So this is no exception here. So I'm so excited about that. All right. That's the end of breakfast. Thanks for joining us. I hope you will practice this good life habit, this hashtag Blissipline, for the next 28 consecutive days, with or without me on the air, on camera. Instead, I want you to do it at home or with your friends, because frankly, my dear, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody else to approve of you? So that's why I want you to join me for breakfast. Thanks for joining me for breakfast. Thanks, Susie, for being a good sport and doing that with me. All right. And now it's time. I won this at Dave & Buster's. So this is my, after breakfast, we're going to go straight into the topic for the show. Everything is awesome. Susie Singer-Carter, what is the topic of the show today? Well, we know, but I'd love you to just speak from your heart and tell us what's going on with this this expose, which is not fun to talk about or think about, but we have to, right?
No, we have to. We do. And let me just preface this by saying, that this is Pollyanna sitting right here. And I, in a million years, never dreamed that I'd be talking about this topic and really being, like you said, a megaphone for this issue, which is a systemic crisis that we've been dealing with for over 5 decades. So, and I only knew it because my mom, who was one of my best friends. I have 2 daughters, but my mom and I had a very special bond. Amazing, fierce woman, amazing singer, and just 5 foot tall, rocket. Just go, and just taught me how to be a good woman. And I appreciated her. And she had Alzheimer's in the last 16 years of her life, but boy, did she live those years, and she taught me how to lean into Alzheimer's and taught me how to come into her world. And we made it the best journey we could. So through that, we went through the pandemic, right? And in 2022, my mom became very ill. She was put into the hospital, sent to the hospital. This was still during COVID. And she had what is called a stage 4 pressure wound, which is a bed sore. If you don't know what that is, I didn't know what that was. I thought it was like a boo-boo, ow, sore, right? No, this is a horrendous thing that happens to your skin when you're not attended to. And it is called the hallmark of neglect. And it is it's really the thing that causes all the other bad things to happen. So from that, you can get sepsis, you can get, you can get pneumonia, and you can have your organs can start to shut down. And it's really all these horrible things that happen. And meantime, you've got this amazing human being that people forget is a human being because they're older, suffering. And they're suffering for no reason. And I couldn't wrap my head around that. And when my now partner, who came onto my project, and an incredible retired federal prosecutor named Rick Montcastle, who, if you saw the miniseries Dope Sick on Hulu, he was portrayed by Peter Sarsgaard. He was the prosecutor who went after Purdue Pharma for the OxyContin crisis.
Right.
Right. Okay. Right. So I saw the miniseries, and at the very last episode, they talked about their next case, which was against Abbott Labs for off-marketing Depakote to nursing homes. Well, that's chemical restraining, which happens sadly across, the boards. That is just part of standard practice. When people get older, if they have a cognitive disability, it's easier to keep them chemically restrained. Well, that was happening to my mom. I didn't know it. As her caregiver, I wasn't made privy to that. Her GP finally told me at one point, your mom is on a drug which is called a black label drug for people who are older, who have Alzheimer's or dementia or Parkinson's. It can be a death sentence. And that's when you walk in. I'm sure if you have gone into a nursing home, you might see a bunch of older people in a wheelchair and just looking like zombies, right?
Yeah.
And the reason is because they're being chemically restrained. And that caused my mom to become immobile. She was very healthy physically. She was walking 5 miles a day and incontinent. And once we got her off of the drug, she never regained her mobility or her continence. Well, I had Rick Montcastle on my podcast, which is Love Conquers All's, ALZ, because I wanted to keep a positive, Dr. Marissa, conversation about Alzheimer's, if you can wrap your head around that. But I wanted to, because I wanted to destigmatize it. Because there's so much stigma around it, even in the healthcare industry. So, and people just make these assumptions that because they have a cognitive disability, they are no longer valuable.
Right.
Which is the opposite of, and it is the complete opposite. I have learned so much through my mom's journey. I am a million times better person now. And every caregiver I talk to is a better person than they were before.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to share, my mom in Toronto has Parkinson's, and for the last dozen years, she's just threw her 90th party, and she has one of those what you were talking about, the sores in the back. And it's common when you're not mobile, right? When you're just staying there all the time, and it's sad. But it is, part aging sucks, man. If that's one thing I'm learning through this process is it's difficult to watch people that you love. I have a bonus parents, 95 and 92, and dad just had a stroke, and it's really hard. But at the same time, Miss Pollyanna, my middle name is also Pollyanna. Just an aside, I had a guest on because when all that Pollyanna and polymorphous or whatever those terms are, I had a guest explaining that, and he said I am polymorphous or whatever it is, and I went, oh, that's my middle name.
That's so funny. That's
and
so
my sound engineer's like, nope, not that one.
Not that one. Nope.
Sorry, I had to put that in there. But yeah, it is. And no one really wants to talk about it because it's difficult to grapple personally, but it, like you said, it really, so I want to give you some props right now for, I give out, not all the time, but Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. Those people who, take something that is not easy to talk about, but bring some light into it. So I'm going to give you that before I forget.
That's so great. Thank you. I'll take all of that wind in my sail, because it is a difficult conversation to have, but it's a conversation that has to be had. And I want to say this to something that you just said about, it sucks getting older. It does suck. I'll tell you what sucks about it is that life ends, because I enjoy life. And, I used to go when I would visit my mom, and I'd say, Mommy, how are you? Every time I'd check in with her. And my mom, God bless her, would say, I am great. I'm alive. The alternative sucks, right? And that is the truth. So as long as you're on this earth, you will adapt to where you are at, right? So you will adapt, and you will, if you have the right presence of mind, which is to be grateful, like you said, and to enjoy every moment because it's a gift, then you deserve that. And you deserve, as we grow older, you do not have to have, yes, you get bed sores, but they should never get to a stage 4. It's like, yeah, you break an arm, but you don't let it hang there.
Right.
Attended to. So but what's happening is, because of the business model of our, the medical, the industrial complex, to use the trope, right, of the nursing home industry, which has become an industry, which has become almost a, if not is a warehouse of human beings. And that's how and that's how money is made, because of ageism, because of ableism, because we are, as a collective, not looking at what's happening behind these pretty lobbies.
I wanted to bring up a picture of your mom. So there's the poster for the movie, and what a beautiful love picture that is.
Thank you.
Continue.
Yeah, of course. So it's just, and the truth is that we can have a very good life all the way till we decide it's time to check out. Whether we have a disease, whatever it is, that we can't control, but we can control the quality. And when a facility, when a company that's making money, whether they're nonprofit or not, they're making money, believe me. And they have gone into this business with a promise to take care of people of different acuities, of different ages, because it's not all elders that are in long-term care. It is people who are in need of long-term care. Many people in their 40s and 50s live in long-term care for their entire life, and they are not getting well cared for either. So because no one's looking, there's a devaluation of humanity. And you're not making money. If you're not making money, you're not worthwhile in our capitalistic. And I'm not political, but I've learned this. And I've learned this from going back to my partner, Rick Moncastle, who was the first person to tell me that this was a systemic crisis that I was dealing with, because I kept saying, I'm there every day trying to advocate for my mom, and all I'm getting is like, we'll look into it. We can give your mom morphine. We can, and I'm like, she doesn't need morphine. I don't need her to sleep more. That's not a life, to sleep for 6 months. That's not a life, right?
Right.
Well, we'll look into it. And looking into it doesn't manifest anything that you need. It's, so he was the first one, because it turned out, and this is another thing I'm grateful for. Here's a human being who happened to be retiring the year I'm talking to him, who happens to say, I prosecuted nursing homes for fraud and neglect and abuse for over 20 years, and federally, right? And never saw any change. I'm throwing my hat in the ring with you. What am I going to do with my 15 minutes of fame? I'm working with you, Susie.
And then he became your partner.
Yes.
That's such a beautiful romantic story.
It's the best. He's the best. And I feel so blessed, because I had to I had to learn so quick as we ran, and, about this. Yes, I can make a film. I can tell a story. Right before this, how I met Harlan, by the way, was because he helped us with a project called My Mom and the Girl with Valerie Harper. And it was based on my mom. It was a narrative, though, that I wrote. And it was, I called it a joyous look at Alzheimer's. And we were Oscar qualified. We went to Cannes. We won awards. We did the PBS Fine Cut Award. And it really spoke to people. And I did it in a real but funny, because my mom was hilarious. My mom was a singer, a lot of music. And it resonated all over the world. And I thought last thing people need is another Alzheimer's film. Well, it turns out they do. Turns out stories are very important. Stories are what resonate with others.
Yes.
You humanize the disease, humanize it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. One of my most proud episodes out of 1,280 episodes is Greg O'Brien, who early onset. Oh, you know him?
I interviewed him. Yes.
Oh, you did? So did I. And
I love him.
I can't believe the importance of having him describe what it's really like in a Pulitzer Prize winning writer who's able to help us understand Alzheimer's in a way that no one else could. And I'm so proud that I got to interview him. And wow, we're going to start counting how many things in common we have. I think we're up to 10. I think we're 10.
I think we are
all right. I guess we're getting together.
Yeah. No, I loved Greg, and you're so right. I mean, Greg is, I just talked about him on a panel yesterday because I was on a panel for, arts for advocacy, because that's, getting back to telling stories. It's so important. That's how you can touch people.
Mm-hmm.
How you can get them to look at difficult conversations.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is through the human relationship.
Yes.
And that's when people say, oh God, you told my story. You told my grandma's story. You told my aunt's story, my husband, my sister, my brother, whatever it is. And, and yesterday there was a gentleman on the panel who has Alzheimer's, and he's been doing a one-man show. And he's in, Sam, and was amazing. I haven't met him yet. And he said, I think, it's so important to talk to people that have Alzheimer's too, so you can really understand it. And I brought up Greg O'Brien because Greg is so generous, and so transparent. And I told him, I said, I'm sure you thought the same thing. How do you have Alzheimer's? You are so articulate.
Mm-hmm.
You are so amazing. And he taught me cognitive reserve. Greg was the one that taught me the term cognitive reserve, because as a journalist, a Pulitzer Prize journalist, that his cognitive reserve was writing, words, articulation, right?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm always writing down. I write before I forget. I write, but my mother's cognitive reserve was music and her humor. That was part of her DNA. So those things never left. Never. I could make her laugh up until the week before she died. I knew, her funny bone.
Yeah.
Troublemaker, I told her, stop making trouble, right? And she would laugh. So, and so keep it
that is so great. And I just thought of 11, 12, and 13, recovering control freak we have in common, filmmaker during COVID. I became a filmmaker myself, like short film called PPP, Post-Pandemic Possibilities. I would love to get your review of that. And and laughter is my most favorite sound on the planet. So that we're up to 13 now. And if you've just joined in studio and wondering what's going on, it is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. And today is #Tuesday Talent Series. And I brought on a filmmaker and, more important, a spokesperson and advocate for nursing home reform. We're going to take a quick break for news, weather, and a word from our sponsor. But don't go away. Chuck Woolery, may he rest in peace, used to say, we'll be back in 2 and 2. I say peace in, peace out. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Susie Singer-Carter.
Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through new thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you, that it will impact all health vortexes, body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢。
Be my partner.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, you can watch and listen on my YouTube TV channel. This is NBC News Radio, and I'm so delighted to have today a very special guest in studio. Her name is Susie Singer-Carter. I'm going to get that order right here. And she is my newfound twin. We're up to 13 things in common, and she's just delightful. She's bringing light, taking her limelight and bringing light to an area of temporary darkness. And that is what is going on in our nursing homes today. And I just want to give a shout out. I loved your movie, Soul Surfer. I didn't realize you were the producer of that. And I think you are muted for there we go. There we go. For a second there, I didn't hear you. I want to hear you. So there we go. So yeah, what a beautiful movie. I had no idea. I just went to your IMDb and you're producer on that.
Yes, it was so horrible. I had to live in Hawaii for 3.5 months, Yeah.
Well, kudos to you.
Thank you. No, that's a beautiful story. Bethany Hamilton's story is just, it's triumphant, it's real, and it's, I love movies that give you a takeaway, which is, and just to use that as a way to segue back into No Country for Old People, is that I didn't want to be the bearer of this gloom and doom. And listen, it's not pretty. And this is a rough watch because I didn't want to sugarcoat it because if we sugarcoat it, then we're doing it a disservice. But I also wanted to not leave people nihilistic and wanting to go in their, just drive off Thelma and Louise style off the side of a mountain either.
Right.
So I really answer 4 questions, which is what happens? Why does it happen? How does it happen? And how do we fix it? How do we fix this, right?
Yeah. Totally. Solution oriented. That's what my show's about. I don't talk about problems unless we talk about solutions. So
we have to have solutions. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're wasting our time.
Okay.
And this is my purpose now. I feel like if anyone can be the spokesperson for this, it has to be me because I don't want to look at these things. I didn't want to, my mom and I had a pact that neither of us died, right? We were like, la, 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 it's not going to happen. But the night before my mom died, I knew she was going to die. I said to her, Mommy, you taught me how to live and now you're teaching me how to die. And that's beautiful. And I thank you for that because neither one of us wanted to go. We're having a good time, right? So, but she did it with grace. Thank God that she, I got to be there with her because it was during COVID. And, can I give you a staggering piece of statistics? Because, and this is what really shocked me when I was doing my interviews, and one of my interviewees, Mike Wasserman, Dr. Mike Wasserman, geriatrician, who's also a very big spokesperson for this issue, he said during the first few weeks or let's say the first month of COVID, over 200,000 nursing home residents died, and not from COVID. They died from being isolated. And they died from neglect, and that is abuse. And no one knows. That number is staggering. And I asked him, I go, and how many of those people died alone? And he said, all of them. And that is heartbreaking. And that number is huge. And you can say, well, they were old, they're going to die anyway. That's not true. That's not true. Many of those, I knew so many people from my mom's facility, because we'd go every weekend and we put on a concert. We'd be singing Neil Diamond for days for my mom. And we'd be, everyone would come around and Susie and her daughters are here singing. We're going to, it was party time. And there was the cool kids in their 90s who weren't, who were mobile, got together every day. They were the hip ones. They were like, Susie, when are you going to put us in a movie? They were just, and we loved them. They all passed away during that time. And they were liking their life. They were enjoying their life, and they deserve that. And no one deserves to go the way that many of the people have gone. So we, and listen, this isn't just my mom's story. This is all of our stories, because that's the equal opportunity of getting older. We all do it. Right?
Right.
And look at you. You're a great example for how to keep reinventing yourself and loving your life and giving yourself purpose. If we don't have purpose, if we're locked in a room, we're going to have failure to thrive. We're not going to want to thrive.
For sure.
Right?
Right. No question about it. That it's a very fast slide, right?
Yes.
When you don't feel like you want to get out of bed, and then you don't want to open your mail, and then you don't want to see people. And then, that is, but it is, it's a function of personal mastery. In my book, it's a choice to choose to be grateful, choose to, look the best feeling thought. But when it's hard, when you're alone and there's no one there to interact with, we are social animals, so it is really, I'll tell you a little dream I had, because we're totally on the same page as you. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all these people who are out of work could learn how to operate? I mean, you can operate any kind of filmmaking thing with your phone and go into places where there are so many people whose lives are so rich, the stories that they've lived, and just interview them. You don't have a job, but and there's a project going on right now that I had her on the show. The Library of Congress is collecting stories of our veterans. So how many veterans are homeless right now? It's a horrible state. But in the meantime, why not go and spend some time and get their stories and submit them into the Library of Congress? I mean, here's something you can do over the holidays and say, instead of saying, I hate the holidays.
Yes.
Like, come on, folks.
I love you. You are the best. No, I'm telling you, because that's exactly right. I tell this. Can I tell a quick story? I don't know.
Yes, please.
So when I used to go visit my mom at assisted living, and one of the residents there was Jack. Jack was 96 years old, and Jack was an ex-veteran, like a celebrated veteran in the Air Force, and then became a celebrated judge. He just had the most rich life, and he was in a wheelchair, and he had this beautiful white, kind of long, gorgeous hair. He was handsome as to boot when he was young. And he was just a little bit curmudgeon-y, but he sat in his wheelchair and he had like a hoodie on all the time. And he'd see me walk and he'd go, Susie Singer-Carter, I love you. I love you. And I'd say, Jack, I love you too. And he'd go, we're not going to have sex, are we? And I go, no, we're not. He said, that's okay. I love you anyway. And so, but we had the greatest conversations, and I started to record his story because he said, I'm famous, if you could look me up on whatever that thing is that you're holding. And I literally loved him. And when I went in every day when I go to see my mom, I'd look for him, the hoodie. And one day the hoodie wasn't there. And that's what happens. Like my heart dropped. Like, it makes me want to cry now because I loved him. I just had such a connection with this man. I didn't know him. I didn't know him more than just, but I knew him. You know what I mean?
we all know each other. We're all, what happened to the kind in humankind? Don't sit there watching stuff that you cannot make a difference in and complain about it and worry about it and be anxious about it. You can control what you do today. You don't have to sit and listen to that. You can go to just go to the homeless camp and ask who a veteran is and interview them. There's your, job for the day. Like
anybody, talk to people, just say hello. That's what My Mom and the Girl is about too, by the way. My mom was having I won't tell you the whole story, but my mom was having there's this anxious thing that happens sometimes. You get agitated and they want to go. And my mom was going and she ended up on the streets at 10 o'clock at night. And she met this transsexual woman who was gorgeous. And the two of them had this conversation. My mom, 5 foot tall, this other beauty bomb who's 6'3", and the two of them ended up, first they were, you don't know my life. You don't know my life. Whatever. You're gorgeous. Shut up. Whatever. And my mom ended up becoming, at the end of this whole scene, they're walking across the street arm in arm. Hello.
Yeah.
But that's what people that filters teach you, is that you are human. And my mom, please watch this film because you'll love it.
How do we watch the film? That's the next thing I was going to ask you. And then we're going to come back and look at some ugly too, now that we've put down the nice, because I do want to talk about the ugly and what we can do to change it. So Absolutely. How do we find the film?
Well, My Mom and the Girl is on it. You can just do a search and find it, or I'll give you the link for your audience to watch it, because I don't care. This movie is a labor of love. It continues to touch people, and it really shows you how a disability can be an advantage sometimes. And I think that's so important.
Yes,
and you make differences in other people's lives, and that's all we're here for. We're not here to, if you did everything alone, how boring would that be?
Absolutely. Are you typing it in the chat or the private chat?
Do you want me to do it?
Well, you just tell me what it is and I'll put it up.
Okay, I can do that right now. If you needed to keep talking as I get you the
Well, I'm ready. I'm poised. The wonderful thing about this studio is that I can be a control freak and actually look stuff up and post it. So
okay, here, I'm going to give you a private link to it.
Oh, okay.
And there you go. That's from My Mom and the Girl.
And this is so you can watch it for free. What you're saying?
I'm telling you for free. I'm saying,
wow, that's free. Awesome.
Just give me some love. Let me know that that it touches you or makes you laugh. I hope all of you. And Valerie Harper, this was her last performance, by the way, which was a gift, an absolute gift. And watch through the credits, you'll see her. She insisted on meeting my mom, and she just talk about a real human being. I know people always say, oh my God, you were so lucky to work with her. Yes, I was, because she is an angel.
Yeah.
And the best.
So there's the link. I don't know if that actually got messed up with the spacing, but
the spacing.
But you'll get it, and I'll just put it up here right now. But talk to me. I'm going to put this up too. This is the other poster that is a little disturbing, but it is true. And I think we all need to sort of recognize what human warehousing is. And so speak to this while I'm putting the other thing up.
Well, this is the very beginning of our sizzle reel, our trailer. And this is, we sort of fashioned it after true crime because it's really what's going on. It's very much like a true crime story. You've got these corporate entities, these, private investors and real estate investment people that are invested into these businesses of nursing homes, and they're very disconnected from it. They don't even step foot into one. They're basically just making money out of it, and it's become very much like criminal enterprise. One of the lawyers that has been doing researching this financial model for, he worked against, organized crime before that, and said it looks exactly like organized crime. And they're taking the money that comes from Medicare and Medicaid and in California, Medi-Cal, and basically, they're taking it out and making billions of dollars of profit on money that we pay out of our own money. This is out of our pocket to ensure that we have that money when we need it. And what's happening is because there's not a lot of oversight, there's not a lot of enforcement of regulations. I'm going to say there's not a lot, there's zero.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, let's put the moose on the table. That's my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All those things. So when we say we're warehousing them, they're putting in the minimum to make the money to do the billing, to Medicare and Medicaid, who are not doing the proper oversight and the proper enforcement. And whatever enforcement is done is, for the most part, performative to make the public think, oh, well, there's staffing mandates, there's these kind of, regulations, but there's not. And if there is a penalty, it is the cost of doing business. It's written into their business model. There's money laundering. They have all these, what's called, you'll see this in the documentary, but it's explained better than I can. But basically these, what's called related parties. So you have these corporate entities who not only own the facilities that your loved one's living at, but they also own the management company, the leasing company, the vendors, the nursing company, the pharmacy. And what do? They raise the prices on that. They're saying, well, our lease went up when we can't afford to staff enough. And the business model is based on understaffing. And understaffing, as all of our experts say, is the root of all evil. You cannot expect, one person to take care of 30 people in the way that they should be cared for. That's just fact. And, and even if you don't know anything about nursing homes or assisted livings, you'll walk into one and you'll say, where is everybody? Why isn't there enough people to help? Because that is the business model. That is the most expensive part of any business, are your employees.
Yes.
That's where they cut costs.
And it's crazy that, that's a lot of work. It's not easy to care. Just in my brief 2 years as a psych aide, actually, the first 6 months just as a psych aide, it is caretaking at a level that's similar in the sense that, you're doing a lot of stuff. It's hard. And these, I was being paid minimum, and I know a lot of caretakers who are not being paid a lot. And and they should be. It's kind of like education. The ones that should be paid more.
I say that all the time, twin. I say that all the time. I say it's just like that because the most important jobs are underpaid. And in our documentary, we actually showed dishwashers, people that work at Target. And this is not throwing shade on that. Those are all great jobs, but they are all making more money. You can work at McDonald's and make more money than a certified nursing assistant or a nurse.
Wrong with that.
And there's and what happens is that you overwork these people that are vocational caregivers, right? That's what they want to do. And they can't keep up. So they go home at night with what's called moral injury. And they can't live with themselves because they can't do the job that they know they're supposed to do, what they want to do. They are short shrifting these human beings. And either they stay in that job and disassociate. And that's why you see people who don't care. Because they have to. That's the only way they can survive. Because guess what? They're human beings too. And so and they're not given benefits. They're not given the proper training. They're not given the proper help. They're overworked. So there's an exodus of workers that have left, frontline providers that have left this industry because it's unbearable. What's going to happen as our baby boomers, all of us are getting older, may need that help. Chances are you're going to, or someone is going to need it. It's Rosalind Carter's, great quote about, the 4 caregivers. You're either going to be one, you have been one, you will be one, or you're going to need one, right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's what she says. And that is the truth. So caregivers are super important, and consistency is important as you get older. If somebody comes in and doesn't know you, Norma, that's my mom's name, Norma doesn't eat that, or Norma likes this kind of music, she doesn't like that kind of stuff, she doesn't watch home, they're called nursing homes. These are not institutions. These are homes where people are living.
Yes. I have some stats here that Harlan sent me. A nurse's 12-hour shift allows the average staff member 25 minutes per person in an entire day. That's not a lot of time. Nursing homes claim to be underfunded while owners are living in $11 million homes. That's like not. CNAs, you were saying certified, what is that, nursing assistant, only work 8 hours, which allows them an average of 8 minutes per person. Healthcare workers are being told to keep quiet. Money laundering, $1 billion Medicare fraud and money laundering scheme. This is, folks, this is real. This is ugly. We don't like talking about it. But the good news is, there is a solution, and Susie Singer-Carter has created a website that I was pulling up there before, called, and it's easy. I put it in the chat there for you. Easy to access. It is No Country for Old People. I like the very nice play on the country. I like that movie. Very, very nice and easy to get to. So please do not tell me you are, mad at what's going on in the votes and what's happening to our country. You can make a difference just in this organization. Don't tell me that you feel helpless. So they could use volunteers. I'm sure they could use funds, end of year donations. I think it's a nonprofit. Yes.
Yes, it is. We've been raising money. We raised all the money for this film ourselves through crowdsourcing, through our fiscal sponsor, which is the National Consumer Voice for Quality Long-Term Care. They've been in business since 1974. If that gives you any idea of how long this issue has been going on. Right? A long time. I also just started a movement called ROAR, which is respect, outreach, advocacy, and reform. We need to roar for our nursing homes and our residents there. We need to roar for change. And if you want to be part of that change, go to the website there. You go to the ROAR movement tab and you can sign up it's really easy. Just says, I want to help. Give us your name. What state are you in? If you have prior experience in organizing movements or, those kinds of situations, we need your help. I've never done it. I've marched, I marched on the Me Too movement. I marched, for the women's movement, for the Writers Guild. Listen, we are powerful that way. We are a collective. As a collective, we are powerful. As constituents, we are powerful. We are powerful as people. But if we don't come together, we can't make change. But all change starts small and incremental. And but there is a way to make change. Yes. And there is a very big lobby that lobbies against change. They want status quo. There's a nursing home lobby who have, like all lobbies, they've embedded themselves in our legislature. That's why traditional advocacy hasn't worked.
I thought you were talking about the new government.
Oh.
But we don't talk about religion and politics here.
No. I'm not. That's a lobby. Yeah, I'm talking about a lobby, and that goes. Listen, that's in it where there's money. There's a lobby.
Right.
And right? Okay,
Right.
so are they strong? Are they wealthy? Yes. But are we wealthy
Yes.
in numbers? Yes, we are. And we've
Yes.
seen it time and time and time again, with all kinds of movements, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, the disability movement. It's one of my interviewees, who's also a geriatrician, said, it took mothers from hell to make the changes in the disability movement. And it's going to take daughters from hell. I'm going to add to it.
You're gonna have to go edit that out for the FCC.
Oh, okay. From
Yes, HE double hockey stick.
there you go. Sorry, but
That's
but that's count me in. I say because yes, when something happens that is wrong, we can either ruminate over it or we can use it to motivate us. And that's what I'm asking everyone to do, is to get motivated to make change for yourself.
Yes. And Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. So
that's right.
Brilliant to put that on your Roar. Absolutely. Count me in as one of your media outlets to promote Roar and everything that you're doing. I definitely want to be part of the solution in this. And as much as it's a difficult topic to talk about and difficult topic to think about, we do need to put our attention on it so that we move it towards what we want, which is, aging with dignity, respect, good humor, laughter, and not alone. And
empathy, folks, empathy. We all need it. We all need it. And it's so important. More respect, more empathy, less greed.
Absolutely. And the gift, the Asian Oprah giveaway today, is from my special guest. She's giving us a free movie called My Mom and the Girl. Just a couple of awards. Hello, your entire frame is is awards. Congratulations. That's
Thank
so
you.
awesome. Was
Thank
this
you
your
so much.
first?
It was my first directorial. Yeah, my first short. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. That
Thank
is
you.
very cool.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, the link is there. You can watch it. I'll be watching it this week for sure.
Oh,
And yeah, for sure. And because I love the role of media and film now to make a difference. I'm all about that. I love, based on true stories, true events. That's really all I watch. Nothing against fiction, but there's something beautiful about life and truth and people's experiences. So I know that's another thing in common.
They resonate. Everyone's stories are important. Your story, Marissa, Dr. Marissa, is so important. Like yours, I don't know you, but I know you. And, it's so funny because I just finished Connie Chung's book, listening to her book. Such an advocate for women and such a trailblazer. And you're also a trailblazer.
Thank you. I can't wait to send you also. I'm working on my first screenplay called Life by 1,000 Cuts.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I love the title of your show. Take my advice. I'm not using it. I love it. That's so brilliant. I said it last night to my producing partner, my other one, my work husband, Don Priest. And I just love it. I think it's so smart.
You're going to have to set me up, but we're running out of time. We're going to have to go. Thank you so much, Susie. If you would join me, this is how I sign out of every show. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Susie Singer-Carter, please go support No Country for Old People. Have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.